I think we've taken a step too far beyond. There's no cohesion of matter here. No cohesion of existence as we understand it. I feel as though our lives is swirling, spiraling down to nothing. Yes, it's all over, Alistria. Are you scared? Hello and welcome back to the Doctor Who Marathon. I'm your host McEdam, and today we're going to be talking about the Enigma dimension, written by Nicholas Bridge. This is the third and final story of the last War Doctors box set, Casualties of War, before Big Finish made the prequel series, The Young War Doctor, which starred a different actor. As this was sadly the last ever performance by Sir John Hurt, both as in his last performance as the War Doctor and his last performance overall before he sadly passed away of January 2017, a month before the box set was released. So this is a very sad release in a sense, because, you know, it's the last time we will ever hear John Hurt perform this role. And it's, you know, I think it has a lot of the War Doctor finished way too early in a sense, because John Hurt was such a phenomenal actor. He's one of the greats. He's one of those actors that everybody praises. A lot of actors have, and their speeches has praised John Hurt. I'm pretty sure he's been praised more than God at this point. But he's like one of the great actors of history, like Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Ian McKellen, Orson Welles, just all those phenomenal people. And John Hurt was the legacy, and we are so grateful and we are so privileged by the fact that we had such a phenomenal actor, and a very well-known actor as well, to play our favourite Time Lord, in a sense, because, man, War Doctor is the Doctor. I don't care what anyone says. Like the follow-up from the previous story, this story also has Leela, played by Louise Jameson, reprising her role from the 1970s as a companion of the Fourth Doctor, now many years after, and it also leads up from the last story, The Lady of Obsidian, in which the Doctor, Alistria and Leela have discovered that there is a Dalek fleet heading to Gallifrey for unknown reasons, because they don't believe that they are very sure of the fact that Daleks just cannot pass Gallifrey's defences at this point. So what is their plan? What is their end game? And that's what this story is leading up to. So this story has a lot of build-up to it. It's the last John Hurt performance, although not intentionally, and it's also leading up from the conclusion to the fourth box set. Now, from what I could gather from the mainstream audience, this is a very popular story. This is the one that loads of people have praised, and I'll get into my opinions when we get into the story. But it does feel epic. It does feel like this grandiose adventure. So, and it's one of those stories that actually I think feels more fitting the audio drama than any other format. It's got one of those weird elements that Big Finish used to do before, but now in a much more modern environment, so we say. So that's pretty cool. So there you go. So shall we look at the covers? This is the official Big Finish CD cover by I believe it's Tom Webster, who's a fantastic digital artist there. John Hurt's face just over there. I like the whole Bohemian Rhapsody thing going on there. Can you just imagine this crew singing Bohemian Rhapsody? That'd be pretty funny. And I don't know if you can see it, but you can see Dalek ships behind the Dalek time strategist. That's the Dalek time strategist there, really cool. Yeah, very, very nice. Very like the orange glow, and it feels really cinematic. And like always with these Big Finish CD covers, I make my own DVD covers. This one I've put together myself with the image I've taken. I can't remember where I've taken this because I don't think it's from the trailer. I can't remember where I've gotten this. It's really interesting. It's the same image essentially. Actually, I think it's the edited. I'm not quite sure. But yeah. And we got the spine there. The font on that is a bit off. I was trying to see if I can make it much more with bevel emboss to make it much more feel like the official DVD covers, but it's come off really, really ugly. And you've got the John Hurt Circle. Hooray for the John Hurt Circle. We have come to the conclusion of the War Doctor box sets. Are you excited? Are you ready for the Enigma dimension? No? Well, neither am I. So let's get on with it, hey? Hey! I don't know why I do this. And here is the back, which kind of gives it away that I made this. So we looked at the covers, we've looked at the behind the scenes anyway. So let's get on to the narrative. So, the story starts off with the Doctor, Alistria and Leela heading to Gallifrey. However, even in the time vortex, they are blocked by this massive thing. They can't really describe it. Just the image of it seems to contradict itself with many bits and pieces seem to be underlaid but connected, overlaid in a sense. And it's so massive, it's twice as big as Gallifrey, making this thing enormous. But the TARDIS doesn't register any sort of weight or mass. This is the thing from a completely different dimension outside the understanding of our universe. This is presumably the Daleks' plan, whatever they're using to try and conquer Gallifrey. So the Doctor sets a course around this really strange, bizarre planetoid thing and find that on the Citadel they are trying to figure out what the hell this thing is. They've called it the Enigma because they have absolutely no idea what it is. It seems to be not giving off anything and originally just seems to be standing there. Leela gets the feeling of overbearing sadness, and there's this whole discussion between the Doctor and Alistria on whether they should trust Leela's instincts. Leela being as the Doctor puts it, a savage, her mind isn't blocked off by intelligent people's self-loathing and their doubts and all that. But Leela, she has kind of like this a psychic sense in a way, and she can feel something's wrong, and she feels like she feels that this Enigma thing is incredibly sad. And so when she's in the capital, she kind of follows her feelings throughout the corridors as the Doctor originally gets worried for her because, you know, she doesn't seem right. And there's a really great moment where he's talking to Alistria and he's like, she's come back to her home expecting to see families and friends, but that was years ago. Everyone she knows is now gone, and I think that she was coming back expecting to meet people that she remembered, but came back to a completely alien environment, and that's kind of upset her in a sense. I really like this concern the Doctor has for Leela. Sadly, it doesn't really play out that much in terms of the story. It's like one or two scenes of this particular concern. But the fact that the Doctor does bring it up, and the fact that the Doctor does do his best to try and understand Leela in that capacity, just shows that this is the Doctor. It's not, despite himself saying that he's not the Doctor, this is the Doctor. This is a man who cares. And there's also a lot of great scenes in which the Doctor is showing off his kindness and compassion and tries to understand the Enigma whilst all the other Time Lords just want to destroy it. The Doctor's like, battle, but only as a very, very last solution. And Alistria basically takes the mick that despite him hating the name, despite him giving up the title, he is still very much the same man, the same Doctor in a sense. And that's what I really, really love about this this particular incarnation. With particular incarnations, more specifically the 5th and the 13th Doctor, we always have these kind of storylines in which the Doctor is trying to discover themselves. They're like, who am I? What is this new incarnation? And the 10th Doctor as well. The 10th Doctor had a little bit of that in his first season, of this person who doesn't know who they are now, and they're gonna try and figure it out. And obviously they come to the conclusion they're the Doctor. They're gonna fight monsters and all that. But I really love the way Nicholas Briggs has done it here. It's the Doctor trying to figure out how he is not the Doctor, how he can be something other than the kind-hearted person who had let this tragic war come to pass. But deep down, he is the Doctor. There is no denying it from an outside perspective. It's just from the Doctor's own head, his own morality, that puts him into this particular situation. And this story plays with that. The Enigma starts showing visions of the Daleks on Gallifrey, in the capital. Leela first sees them and takes her concerns up to the capital, where she explains this to the Doctor and Alistria. And Alistria originally doesn't believe her, thinking that she is just some sort of stupid savage who just saw shadows of Daleks. And the Doctor, trusting Leela with all of his lives, basically is like, we need to follow on from Leela's concerns. We need to put Gallifrey on a breach high alert. To which Alistria does, and they originally find nothing until all of a sudden Daleks start appearing everywhere, and the walls start changing around them. And as the Doctor proclaims, "This isn't Gallifrey anymore. This is a Dalek planet." That is a brilliant line. The Doctor and Alistria, along with Leela, who is now possessed by the Enigma, Doctor proclaims originally he felt like this Enigma is such from a completely different universe that its language, in a sense, is completely alien to even the TARDIS's telepathic circuits, and its thing was communicating through Leela by these emotions, by these feelings. But the Enigma possessed Leela, used her as a voice to tell basically the Time Lords that the Daleks have asked her to change history, because this thing is from an existence outside of her own time. It can alter our timeline without any concerns of things that are time locked or real life established history. So when it alters history, when it's trying to alter history, it's kind of like in the process. The Time War never happened. Gallifrey was always a planet owned by the Daleks. Yeah, the Time War has won. The Daleks have won. And that's only the first act. That's what I mean by epic. That is just such a phenomenal... That would have been a perfect cliffhanger, I felt. But sadly, this is only a 60-minute, one-part adventure. I felt like this idea should have been a two-parter. But it's still a great little moment. And so the Doctor sets in some random coordinates in a vain hope to actually land in the Enigma's dimension, to which he succeeds. And Alistria and himself go out, and they find that there's this weird... They're now in a weird universe which they cannot understand. There is no up and down. The Doctor and Alistria's feelings start to get distorted in a sense, as the Doctor and Alistria are like, we're going to die, but it feels like we don't care anymore. Existence doesn't matter. The Time War never happened. It's very strange. It's very... But then suddenly they get brought back into reality as they get to talk to the Enigma, who explains that they are creatures outside of any sort of realm of time. To them, life and death may as well be the same thing. They explain that the Daleks have taken hostages of their people, but to them it doesn't really matter. Just kill them or not, it doesn't really concern them. It doesn't really bother them whether the Daleks kill them or not. But they did what the Daleks asked them to do, which is to alter the timeline to destroy all the Time Lords. Because the Daleks asked. They don't have any sort of morality like ours. They just had any new stimulus, this being the Daleks, who have somehow found a way into this Enigma dimension. And the Dalek time strategist just asked them, and it obeyed, because it had nothing else to do, I suspect. And the Doctor and Alistria basically tried to reason with it, but talking to it. Whilst this is going on, the Dalek time ship lands in the dimension, because back in the real universe, it seemed to have just stopped alternating the timeline. It stopped stopping the Time War. The Time War still exists in the real universe. So the Daleks come to this universe to basically threaten it, not realizing that killing its hostages will not do anything. And so the Doctor and Alistria and now Leela, being brought back to her own self, basically try to... are now hostages of the Daleks. And as we get some really fantastic moments, which feels very New Who. It feels like something which Doctors 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13 would easily do, which I wouldn't be quite... Not that I wouldn't see it in Classic Who, but this seems like a scene from New Who, in which the Doctor he notices something very strange with the Daleks. He basically begs them to shoot him. It's like, come on, you have us, you've won the war. Fire at us. There's nothing stopping you now. I'm your greatest enemy. The one who used to call himself the Doctor. But the Daleks do not fire. They dare not to fire at him. Mainly because they have a fear that the Doctor has something up his sleeve. Has something more plans if they destroy the Doctor. Whilst also realising it has something to do with the Enigma dimension, and they proclaim that right after their plans have succeeded, they will then kill them. But the Doctor's like, why? What's the point? Why wait until then? I mean, we are your greatest enemies. We will foil your plan. Why don't you just kill us now? But the reasoning is because the Daleks are afraid of the Doctor. We also get one of the first long-term conversations between the Doctor himself and the Dalek time strategist, which is a very, very powerful scene because we've been building up to the Dalek time strategist throughout these box sets. He's appeared like here and there in some stories. Sometimes he's the main antagonist. He's met Alistria at some point, and it all starts essentially building up. And slowly the Enigma starts realizing, right, the Daleks aren't the good guys. They are, they would threaten them, and the Daleks do. They're like, we will kill your hostages. The Enigma is like, do it. I will not obey. But we will kill your kind. I do not care. Kill them. I will not obey. And the Doctor's like smugging about. He's very smug about it by the fact that the Daleks have hostages, but the threat does not work. So the Enigma starts to believe, basically, to trust the Time Lords, to trust the Doctor and Alistria. And the Doctor originally commands Enigma to set time back on its normal course. But Alistria has a plan. This is one of the greatest weapons in the entire known universe, in anything that the Time Lords have. So she asks the Enigma for its help to destroy the Daleks. Basically, the Daleks' plan, but on themselves. So the time war never happened. Only the Time Lords existed. The Doctor, completely stunned by this. No, he demands. You cannot do this. As the Enigma's like questioning, because the Doctor and Alistria like fighting over each other. It's like, you want me to do this? You don't want me to do this? And the Doctor comes up with a plan. And in his mind, a better plan. Instead of destroying none or one, destroy both Daleks and Time Lords. Wipe them both out of the face of the earth. And Alistria is absolutely flabbergasted. This is the Dark Doctor that he has been building up to. This is the moment that he has given up the name for the Doctor for. He basically has come to the realization that not only are the Daleks are this massive warrior race, but now, thanks to the Time War and their history and their ideologies have now morphed, they too are now a war race. And if the Daleks were destroyed, they'd just find another race to have a war with. So the Doctor commands even himself to destroy everyone, leaving no traces of a time war. No chance that there could be another time war. The Enigma sends all the characters back in their own dimension, where it has altered nothing. And Alistria and the Doctor have a massive falling out, and and even Leela is questioning the Doctor, and she's like, why would you do this? Why did you thing? And the Doctor basically proclaims that he is a monster. He is something, he's just fed up of the fighting, and he just wants to give up, just kill everybody, Daleks, Time Lords, and just let the war end. There's no even hope for himself. He wants to die with his people, with the Daleks, in a massive one-off defeat. And that's the Enigma dimension. Overall, it is action-packed, it's intense, it feels epic. It's got great characters, great weirdness in it, especially with the stuff with the Enigma dimension. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of meaning. It's also a really great finale to build up to the Day of the Doctor. As much as I am very sad that we didn't get the 5th box set, this story does happily build up to the Doctor's idea of destroying both races in an attempt to end this war, which leads directly into Day of the Doctor. So that is very, very cool in a sense. Kind of like a happy tragedy in a sense. This would be the War Doctor's final official story in a sense. This is it's a great way to conclude the War Doctor story. I'm so glad that we did get this as the conclusion. If we had the fifth one, not to say it couldn't have been also a great conclusion, but having this as the conclusion really is a great way of leading directly into Day of the Doctor. Whilst if we had a fifth one, it might have had a little kip, if you get what I mean. So, highly recommended. I also highly recommend getting all stories of Casualty of War. This is a great box set. Like I said, it features my favourite companion, Leela. Her role in the last story, she does kind of have a lot to do, but the character herself is sort of there as an emotional linchpin for the story, which is a bit disappointing. And I'm also disappointed, which obviously because, this wasn't concluded. It's supposed to be the final box set. Now, Leela doesn't actually have a goodbye scene. The story ends with her just talking to the Doctor about his ideology. We never see her as like, goodbye, Doctor, you are still the man who I believed or not. You never get that kind of scene, which is kind of sad, kind of disappointing, but, like I said, you can't really help it. This wasn't planned to be the final box set. They didn't know that this would have been John Hurt's final release as the War Doctor, which is very sad. But anyway, that's the Enigma Dimension and the Casualty of War box set. So join me next time where we will be seeing the fall of Arcadia as we start watching some POV shots of one soldier and his experience during the Time War. So, see you next time, and I'll see you for the last days. And I'll see you next time on the Doctor Who Marathon. Ta-ra!